What's good? Welcome back to another episode of the Henny Nights podcast. As always, I'm your host, your brother, Jay White. First things first, make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to this at, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. Make sure you share that with your people. Make sure you rate the podcast because it helps with the visibility of the show. And as always, I greatly appreciate it. Next, Henny Nights merch. If you want your crew neck, your hoodies, socks, anything like that, make sure you click on the show notes for the podcast. Click on that link tree. It'll take you to the merch store where you can get all of that stuff there. So again, I greatly appreciate that as well. Now, I had a really, really dope guest here in the podcast with me, man. He's doing a lot of great things here in the city. Former NFL player. He's doing a lot of great things here in the community. I have Mr. Laurence Maroney here in the podcast with me.
I like the introduction. I like it.
Yeah, man. I had to get you right. Man.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me first and foremost.
Yeah, man. No problem. Yeah, no problem, man. So we gonna get to the great things that you're doing here in the city. But first things first, I always treat everybody like family, like we cousins and haven't seen anybody in a while. So how are you, bro?
Good. I thought, with the name of the podcast, let me just get off script for a second. Henny Nights. I thought we was going to have a shot of Henny or something on the table waiting for each other. I thought we was going to sip like, I thought it was one of those type
Yeah,
vibes.
I mean, we can do that, man, for sure. I wanted to keep it professional, you know what I'm saying? So,
but other than that, man, I've been all right, man. Really just been getting myself back together, getting back out here in this community, getting back to being the face of the community. Was what I once was doing, man, and just trying to be a version of me that I needed for myself when I was an up and coming athlete that I didn't have. And so I want to be that vessel, that person for all these up and coming athletes and be their voice and whatever I can do to help them, because I went down that path that every athlete is definitely trying to get down that's in the community, man, and just really just give back.
Yeah, for sure. So everybody has a story. So, when we have first time guests on here, we want to get your story and, up to the current date. So as far as like some of the earliest influences or memories related to, going down the path of, football and going to college and going to the league, what were some of those things that kind of drove you, as far as excellence and obtaining that goal?
Well, it was really, man, the biggest one was my mother, man, and just watching her work 12 hours or whatever that is, her shifts, and literally going to work 6 a.m, coming home 6 p.m, taking me to every practice, every sport, on top of coming home, making sure I was fed, I ate. I think all the sacrifices that she gave for me and me just wanting to change our living situation, man. I think that was the biggest drive for me, because I just wanted more from life. I wanted more for us. I didn't just want what we have. Not saying what we had was just super bad, but I know it's better. Yeah. And I want to strive to at least try to get it, at least reach for the stars. Right. If I don't make it, hey, it is what it is. But, I didn't want to be a waste of talent either. I wanted to get this talent thing that the God blessed me with a chance, and see where I can take it. So that was my motivation, man, was my mother. Like, I just think how much time and effort that she put and dedicated and invested into me that I wanted to be able to return the favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, the platform increases with every level that you go to. And so was it like a culture shock when you got to the collegiate level, or
it was just because I went to Normandy, right? And so, Normandy is predominantly black, on all levels, from elementary to middle school to high school. I think we probably 98% African American. And then I went to the University of Minnesota, where the roles was reversed.
Yeah.
And I never seen that many people in my life. Like, and at first, when I first got there, my mother would tell you, I used to call her every day because I thought I made a bad decision, because I just didn't think they liked me. Didn't like my style. I was a extrovert. I was loud. I was a St. Louis guy.
Facts.
I was me. I knew I was a talent, and I was just really being me, and I didn't really think they liked me, and they made it kind of rough. I felt like they made it kind of rough for me at the beginning, but I guess it was more so of they probably seen more in me than what I realized that I had, and they was just really pushing me to be my greatness. And so once I really, calmed down, and once I got to that level and calmed down and just bought into to their teachings and their ways, and still put my St. Louis and my swag to it, it took off. It blew up for me. Yeah. It worked.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course, first round pick, you go to the Patriots.
Yeah, on paper, listen, I'm grateful, man. Don't get me wrong, because the greatest part about it, man, playing with the Patriots is just learning from an A1 organization, which is one, as far as business. Like, I didn't know nothing about business. I just always looked at football as sports and fun, but it just really just taught me a lot about business, one. But two, from a athletic standpoint, was all the Hall of Famers that I was able to play with. Right. It's like, I remember growing up watching Randy Moss, and now I look up, I'm in the same huddle.
Right.
As Randy Moss, in the same huddle as Tom Brady, in the same backfield as Fred Taylor, Corey Dillon, Richard Seymour on defense, Rodney Harrison on defense, Asante Samuel, Junior Seau, like Vince Wilfork. Man, I can go on and on. It's like being a kid from St. Louis and watching a lot of these superstars and these future Hall of Famers, and just being able to be on the same team. And that was like, I couldn't ask for nothing more.
Yeah. And of course, playing under Coach Belichick as well. What was that like, man?
Belichick is one of them guys, man. I think, when it's said and done, if the NFL coaches guides, permits it for him to be named the greatest coach of all time, I think he has a shot at it, man. I think he's very knowledgeable, very smart. I think he's the epitome of, how when we as athletes, like, it's hard to listen to people that didn't play the sport. Right. And I think he's the one that gets away, because he's the one that I don't think he ever played football, but the knowledge that he has for the game is undeniable, man. And I think that's what's going to separate him from a lot.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so, now it's more common to speak about, like, the mental aspect of the game.
It's getting common.
Yeah,
it's getting common.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. It's getting a lot more common for sure. So as far as the mental preparation that went into, what you did, like you said, you were around Hall of Famers, and so and now, like I said, it's more common to take mental health into consideration. Was there any way that you prepared for that, or looking back at it in hindsight,
I think it was tough, because it's like you got so many things on your plate at once, especially for me being a first round pick. Not only I'm a first round pick, so the expectations is high from them for you. I think the expectations for yourself is high. And I think, when you dealing with all that, learning the playbook, and not only going to the top tier team at that, right, was another one for the mental. And I think just really pushing your body and pushing yourself to be your greatness, on top of dealing with the behind the scene family issues, probably girlfriend issues, just everyday human life issues. And I think, at 21, that was a hard ask. I go from not having no money to having all the money, to now supporting all my family, making sure everybody gets a piece of the pie, making sure everybody's straight, on top of making sure my financial advisors and the checks and balances on that, and all that's in order, the CPA, and then on top of knowing the playbook, knowing the plays, and actually going out there performing. And I think, like you say, mental, it wasn't a conversation piece. And so it's like, for a 21-year-old kid, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot to be a burden to have on your shoulders that you're dealing with by yourself. And so, you just go with it the best way you can, and just one day at a time. And so for me, it was just figure it out, deal with the stress. And, and a lot of times, you suffer in silence, because you will take all that, and you'll keep it on, and you'll pack it on, and you'll just keep it to yourself, and rather than, finding somebody to talk to help you walk through these issues or these problems that you having behind the scenes. So for me, it was just really for me, the best way I knew how was just keeping it to myself and just figuring it out and dealing with what's important. All right, I got to know this playbook. I can't deal with the family stuff right now. But then I try to come back and deal with it when I can. And so it's just really just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, you left the Patriots. Was that like what is going on?
Oh, it was
moment?
heartbreaking.
Like, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie to you because it's just like I wanted to I ain't want to be one of them guys that go to multiple teams. And not saying it's something wrong with guys going to multiple teams, because sometimes going to a different team be a better situation.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Patriots. I really loved being there. I wanted to retire there, and so when I got traded, it was just like, it just hurt my heart because I invested so much into them. And I felt like they was investing so much into me, and it was just like it didn't add up. It was like, what was the reason? Why? And I think me not really knowing what was the reason or however it went down, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? And then I go to Denver, which was in a process of rebuilding, and it was like a circus. It was like a shit show. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a good situation because Josh McDaniels, which was the offensive coordinator, which was on the Patriots when they drafted me. I'm like, ooh, I'm thinking I'm going into a good situation, and then it was good until it wasn't. And then he get fired. Now I'm on a whole new team with nobody to support me. You know what I'm saying? So it was terrible. It was terrible. It wasn't the best fit. It should have been, could have been. It just, timing was just wasn't right.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, you start to think about the transition outside of football and what your next move is. What was that realization like? Because, you hear athletes talk about like it's tough after, you've been doing this pretty much your whole life to going to do something completely different, or, even just sitting at the crib, not doing anything. What was that realization and transition like for you?
For me, it was a rough one, man, because it was lack of knowledge for one. I think that was a downfall because I was still trying to live the NFL lifestyle, but wasn't making
the NFL money.
Money, and so then you get to dipping into your savings, and you still trying to put on and be Laurence Maroney. And I tell people at that point that I feel like I was living a double life because it's just like I'm still trying to be Laurence Maroney, and I think that was just me being young and just not knowing. I felt like this was what the world say I should live like,
right?
Or think I supposed to be living like, and so I didn't want to let them down. Like I got to live how they think and not really just being a man and just breaking things down smaller, living to get more manageable, and then come with a new game plan to reinvest the money that you did have saved to, once to get you back there instead of, keep living it and digging yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. And I think that's what I did because I was trying to live for the Joneses and wasn't really living for self.
And so with the LM39 Foundation, how did that come about?
That came about when I first got drafted.
Okay.
So I started that in 2007. And so, and I knew, because I grew up in Normandy in my upbringing, the lack thereof when it comes to resources. And luckily I was able to, through the God-given talent, was able to creep through the crevices and the cracks, right?
Right.
But I knew, the kids behind me might not have the same will, the same drive to try to creep. I know the talent level would be there. And so I just wanted to try to make everybody that's coming after me journey and ride a little easier,
right? And
try to bring the resources that I know I didn't have, that I know that my community needed. And so that's why I created my foundation. And so everything I did from 2007 to 2012 while I was playing was free. Wasn't really trying to make money off the kids, wasn't trying to make a dollar. I felt like, long as I run this football and stay on this field, the money will come. And so, all my camps, toy drives, everything was free. And I just wanted to, give my community the resources that I didn't have. And so when things started mudsliding after I got out the league in 14, it's really hard to continue to help the community when you're barely helping self. And so, you know, you go through that process where you think the bounce back game is going to come back quicker than, you know, it did. And so, you know, oh yeah, I'm going to bounce back in a couple years and get back. And then a couple years go to 6, go to 7, go to 8. You're like, ooh. And then, so, you know, I was able really to get back on solid ground around 18, 19, and then 20. Everything was eventually backing back great. But by this time, we talking about 2012, 8 years that went by, you know, and now social media became the new wave. And so it's like, you know, I'm right before the social media wave. So it's like, now I'm just a blip on the map. And so it was just like, you know, forgotten. And I just really just wanted to stay in the shadows. But like I said, always take that strong queen behind you to keep pushing you. And now it wasn't easy for her. And I know I gave her hell a lot, you know, because I was just really content of just staying behind the scenes. I'm back on solid ground. I'm back cool, raise these kids and just mind my business. But, you know, she was just like the nag that was in my ear, like, no. It's more for you in your life. It's more for you to do in this world than say, hey, I made it to the league. I fell down. I picked myself back up, and now I'm living good again. It's like, no, it's more to your story. And she kept poking to where it's like one of them things that took me back to college. Like, maybe she sees something greater in me that I must not just be seeing in self at the moment. And so I end up buying back in. Because if one, it was, she wasn't going to leave it alone, right? She wasn't, so I might as well. Yeah. She wasn't going to leave it alone. And two, it just made me realize and get back to doing what I did it for in the first place. It was for the kids. It was for the community. It was for giving every kid a better chance than what I had. And so 2023, we revamped my foundation. Okay. So it ain't a new one. We just really just restarted it, revamped it, and just really reestablishing it back into the community. Like, hey, I know I've been gone. Yeah. I apologize. I was dealing with my own personal things. Hopefully y'all can understand, but hey, I'm here now. How can I help? How can I serve y'all? What can I do to make our community better?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really, really dope. And so with specifically dealing with kids from the community, what is some of the things that you see that they need, and what is some of the advice that you try to give and instill in them?
So the first thing that I see, you know, and definitely dealing with the people in my community is one is believing in themselves. And I think a lot of kids don't have hope. They don't have faith. They don't believe. They're the one that's supposed to make it, you know, just based on upbringing, living situation, home situations. And so it's just really getting kids to really believe in themselves and believe that they too can change their outcome. And it's just really is going to come down to how bad do you really want to change it? And I think for me, I really wanted to change it. So I did everything possible, and I didn't let nothing get in my way, nothing stop me from achieving this goal. You know, it's like, hey, I want different. I understand y'all my boys. If you want to sit on the corner, if you want to do this, hey, that's your life. I support it. But listen, don't be mad at me because I want better. I want more. And so it's just getting them to really, one, believe in themselves first. Believe that they can get better. They can get more. It's just, you know, it's going to come with sacrifices. It's going to come with a little patience, a little perseverance, a little mental toughness, right? You know, but it could be done. And I try to let them know that, you know, you're looking at living proof, because I had less resources than which I have now. Right. And I really made it with the minimum investment of just really believing in self. No cash value. You know, most investments you're going to have to put a little cash value into and hope for a return. But, you know, I put minimum cash value into it and believed in self and got a great return. Yeah. And that's what I want them to understand. It can be possible, but you're going to have to sacrifice something. You're going to have them sore body pain days, or I don't want to work out, but you're going to have to. Yeah. I don't want to train, but you're going to have to, because it's just like a plant. You know, if you don't water that plant, it don't grow. And if you don't water your skills, it's not going to get better. And so you just got to, it's just a little investment, but it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And so with that, you're leaving a legacy behind because you're instilling those values into them, and you're giving them that advice. How do you see your legacy going, with this, I
don't know, man. It's up in the it's up in the air, man. It's like, I know I always wanted to be different, man. Just didn't want to be Laurence Maroney from Normandy. I always wanted to be remembered, and I don't want to just be remembered for, he made it first round. I think my legacy, I wanted to be remembered of how much I can give back and help my community. Despite, I made it first round. I made this money. I did this, but, I can do all that. But if I don't get back into my community and give back and reach one, teach one, I think, all that is for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I grew up in the Northwoods area. So, driving past, I didn't go to Normandy. I went to Cardinal Ritter, but driving
but
past.
You posted with the Normandy.
I could have. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people that went to Normandy that are the homies. So, but just driving past there recently I remember what it looked like in 2007 to what it looks like now. So
amazing.
So about to say, so when you go up there and see what it's become, I know that has to do something in you, like, wow. Like,
It do. And I'm happy for them, but it's just like, too, at the same time, it's like, let's just not fix the cosmetics.
Yeah.
Let's fix the internal. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, I don't care how good we make this school look. If we're not fixing the inside piece, it's going to be the same Normandy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You just gave it a facelift. But behind all these beautiful buildings and bricks and windows, it's the same Normandy. So it's like, how do we change that piece? Because my thing is, before my time is punched, at one point, and I know it can happen, and I know it ain't gonna happen overnight.
Right.
I want to see Normandy win. And a lot of kids, that's their biggest thing. They don't believe they can win from Normandy. So as like you, they go to Cardinal Ritter, they go to East Side, go to Vashon, go to the Hazelwoods, go to the CBCs.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, it's like all you kids that was going to be great for all these other teams and schools. Just imagine if all y'all just stayed in Normandy.
Right.
How great Normandy would actually be. And that was the main reason why I stayed. Because I could have did the same thing, went to East, and wouldn't have did nothing. Like, East was already great. I just would have been another great player on a great team, and, career probably still would have went the same way. But I wanted to show our community that we can win from here. You do not have to leave outside the footprint to be great. You just have to believe. That's it.
Yeah.
And I did. And it was like so many schools wanted me to come there. And it was just like, Normandy will never be great if all the so-called great players leave. So it's like I had to make a stand. I wanted to be the piece that people look at as like, man, Laurence Maroney was great. He actually stayed and made it from Normandy.
Yeah.
So then it's like, now the kids that's growing up is like, man, he walked these same streets, same halls. Maybe I can do it too.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to leave behind. That's what I want these kids to feel, is like, man, if he can do it, I can do it.
Exactly. So even expanding that outside of Normandy to St. Louis, what are some of the things that you were loving about, where St. Louis is headed right now? What are some things that, like, you say, yeah, we kind of need to change that. We kind of need to work on that.
From what standpoint?
I mean, right now, like, creatives, entrepreneurs like yourself, we're really thriving in this space. And we are.
You seeing a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business people open up and thriving. And I like it because sometimes I feel like, and it's just my personal opinion, schools is not really created for entrepreneurs or to create entrepreneurs or business owners. It's to create the working class.
Right.
And so, for me to see my city, starting to really go out there and figure out how to make their own money, and it's only going to be great for the city, because that's the thing. A lot of the problems where people is money. And if we can figure out the financial crisis, you know, I think it'll help a lot of other crises that we're going through also. And then from an athletic standpoint, it's just great to see so many athletes coming out the city now. Mm-hmm. You know, you think about it, what year you would have graduated?
From high school. Yeah. I graduated in 2007.
So you right after me, but even around that time, you think about how many people you heard from St. Louis going in any sport.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot more now than it was.
You see what I'm saying?
Then, yeah, for sure.
So, you know, it's like we knew we had talent. Yeah. You know, we synced and played, but it's just what was the reason why they didn't make it. And I think that was another thing for me is like, I figured, you know, I ain't gonna say I cracked the Da Vinci Code, but it's like, you know, I put in my mind, it's like, I know I ain't the most talented person from St. Louis. I know I ain't got all the skills, and I know I synced a lot of cold people, but they didn't make it. Yeah. So what is it? So I realized then it ain't all about talent. Because if it was, it would be a lot of us that make it. So it's like, how do you put the talent with everything else to really get you to the next level? So I'm just happy to see that we getting the light, we being looked at, and our kids is getting the opportunity to get on the outside of St. Louis, to see that the world is bigger than St. Louis. It's a lot bigger than St. Louis, and you get more opportunities and more chances when you get up outside of here, man. And I love my city to death, but it's like, you know, unfortunately, you know, once you get outside of here, you know, doors open.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of doors open, and when you go to that collegiate level, now you're getting into the NIL deals.
Yeah, you getting it, like and what's crazy, you getting it in high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, do we get back paid? I need retroactive.
Yeah.
Give me a check.
Some dues, run that back for sure.
Man, but I think that's good, man. It's because it's needed, man. Because a lot of kids, you know, even with me, I had a full ride scholarship, you know, to the University of Minnesota. And, I was still broke. I was still broke in college. And so now to see these kids able to, you know, really make money, and now where you see a lot of kids that actually allow their body to develop to what it needs to be, especially on the football side. You know, back then, you know, kids trying to get out early, but now, because it's like, think about it, it's like, why leave early when I can stay in college and make some more money before I get to here? So it's like, now you're going to get more kids staying, more degrees getting got. And so I think overall it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, it's trickle down effect for sure. So before I get you out of here, what is one of your best memories of either, probably with the Patriots or being in the league?
Well, for sure. The best memory, I ain't going to say the best. One of my favorites. Scoring a touchdown in the Super Bowl. It's like, how can you compete with that, man? You know, to take your profession to the highest level, right, is one thing. But then to be on a team that goes to the highest game. And I think for me, like when playing in the Super Bowl, it's like, well, if y'all didn't know Laurence Maroney, y'all gonna know him now, because I know at this one particular game, the world is watching. You know, and so I had so many dances and celebrations.
You were ready.
I listened. Oh man, the night before, you should have seen me. I was in the mirror practicing. So many celebrations, but what's crazy, and I guess I finally understand that Kanye West song "Flashy Lights," right? Because I scored, and I seen so many lights flash, and forgot every celebration. I forgot every celebration I just practiced, and I promise you, I had some good ones for the age. And I think once I scored and I got up and I just seen lights after lights, I ain't gonna lie to you, I was struck. I was stuck in the loss. So I was just like, oh, wow, like this is really happening. I always said I was going to make it to the NFL, and I always said I was going to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And, you know, to really have them dreams come true, it's like it can't not be nothing but one of my tops.
Yeah. And when you were speaking as far as coaching, especially now with today's youth, what are some things that you may have noticed that's like maybe missing, or they may need more of
on
the
kids,
toughness,
man?
Okay,
for sure. It's like I get this generation, when it comes from a talent standpoint, for sure, they're way more talented than we were back in our day. You know, you got to look at the training. You know, we didn't really had no training like this. So, you know, but they're soft. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say it no other way, but they're soft, you know, and then you got kids that only play one side of the ball. It's like, y'all don't even know nothing about Iron Man, man. But then it's like, too, it's a gift and a curse with the NIL. Now you got so many coaches that's just trying to be coaches just to latch on to kids because they know these kids getting paid and trying to, you know, figure out how to get a piece of the pie. So it's just like, you got a lot of snakes in the grass, so make sure you keep your grass cut and really vet these coaches and these people, man, that's calling themselves they coaches, you know, when it comes to dealing with your kid, especially if you got a kid that's looking highly successful, you know. So got to be careful with that, man, because you got so many, you know, want to be coaches, but they just in it for ulterior reasons, man, especially knowing that, oh, I can be this coach. I'm going to show him the ropes. He going to get the NIL deal. I'm going to get a piece of it. Like, they don't really care about the kid future. It's all about $1 now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, last question. We're going to keep it all the way St. Louis with this one.
I want to see where this goes.
When you go to the Chinese spot.
For sure.
What's your order?
Got to get the crab ragoon for sure.
Yes, sir.
Got to get the St. Paul sandwich.
Yes, sir.
And then, now this something new, you know, it wasn't having it when I was growing up, but get the seafood fried rice.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't eat beef or pork.
Okay.
And I try to stay away from the chicken because, you know, maybe cat, maybe. But I grew up on it, which was good, so I ain't tripping. But just to stay on the safe side, I just get the seafood.
Yeah,
but
okay.
The two main things that's a must for sure, you can never go to the Chinaman and don't get crab ragoon. And you cannot not get a St. Paul sandwich.
Yeah, there you go. You know, I had to ask, man.
Yes.
So, hey, man, I appreciate you for doing this, man.
No, I appreciate you, bro.
It was really, really dope. So as far as your socials and everything like that, you know, give that out so, you know, people know they can reach you.
My personal socials is Laurence Maroney on every platform from Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and it's the LM39 Foundation on Facebook and Instagram to follow my foundation, upcoming events, and to just stay in tune with what I'm getting going on in the community.
Yeah,
but also too, I have a toy drive coming up this Sunday at Normandy High School from 12 to 4. Toys ranges from newborn to 12 years old. So pull up, pop out, and come celebrate with me.
Yeah, man. There you go. And so, yeah, I'm going to put all that information in the show notes of the podcast. Make sure you tap in with them. Tap in with the LM39 Foundation. They're doing really, really dope things here in the city, man. And like I said, I really appreciate you, you know, just coming on the show, chopping it up with me, man.
Anytime. So, next time, just have a shot.
Man, I have a shot next time, man. You know, I was trying to keep it professional, but yeah, I have a shot for you next time for sure, man. So yeah, until next time, we'll holler at y'all later. Peace.
Thank you.